So here it is. This is Mandrake by Malstrom. And this is something I've been using for quite a while now. And yeah, I didn't really want to share it with you because it's my kind of secret weapon in a lot of my recent productions that I've been doing. And the reason for that is because, well, as you'll see in this video, just how much you can get out of this as a kick drum module. I mean, it's just so versatile. You've got the opportunity using all the modulation to kind of craft it and change it however you want. It's, of course, you can just have this as a set it and leave it kick drum, but I have to say, taking advantage of the modulation inputs can really bring this to life and really benefit your tracks. Okay, so let's jump into the panel and have a walk through what we've got here. We've got a trigger button, manual trigger button, which is cool, or you send it a trigger, obviously, from your sequencer. I'll do that so I don't have to manually press it throughout this. Okay, it's kind of hard to know where to start with this when telling people about it, because all the elements kind of interact with each other in a way. You know, the more you push the kind of saturation, the way that changes with the damping and the shape of it, it kind of, they don't think of all these things as discrete elements. It's very well thought out, this, in terms of like how it all combines together. So I think the first thing we'll start with is, like, you can set the initial frequency here of your kick drum. So you can tune that straight away to your track, and actually you've got a volt per octave input there, so you can actually change the frequency of that over time, or yeah, just send a multiple of your synthesizer volt per octave into that, and then it'll always track your track if you want it to do that. So we have that. And then we've got this pitch decay here, which is like the duration of the pitch decay going down. And that works kind of hand in hand with this, which is the P mod, which I think stands for pitch mod, which kind of sets the pitch decay amount. So if we have really long pitch decay and a high pitch mod, we get that. So you can hear as I'm turning that up, you get kind of more of that decay amount. I kind of like having it as a high amount and a shorter decay. You get this kind of extra transient, get that front end with it. And that's coupled with the shape, which is your overall length, your overall decay. So that's your pitch decay. This is like the volume decay. And in fact, there's a little switch here. So you can switch that between two different shapes there. I believe the top one, when it's up, you get this kind of more linear response. So you get a bit more low end. And when it's down, you get this kind of more exponential, and it's a little bit cleaner. So already, just with these, we can shape this massively. I'm going to leave it up because I like that extra low end. Then we have the damping. which acts like I guess like a filter in a way. It's really nice. So now we've kind of, you know, with the damping, we've got a lot of this kind of buzzy, long, low end decay, which I like. But now we've kind of shaped that off. It's really cool. And you can modulate that as well. So that's the pitch, that's the length of it. And then we've got the front of the transient. So we've actually got the ability, we've got the volume here actually for the front end of the kick drum. And then we can choose the actual sound of that, which just takes that click up and down in pitch, and that can be modulated. We've got a main output, and we've got saturation. Now, what I said at the beginning about all these kind of working together is in fact that, because when you increase the saturation, and resonance, that's going to interact with your kind of, your length, your decay. As to how all that works. And you can get such a range of outputs in this. So we can go right from there all the way to like yes. And then we've got this here, which allows us to hear a bit more of a kind of cleaner output, or a bit more aggressive one. And then we've got this, which is, this is really cool. So you can actually send in another trigger here, and you get these extra kicks, and they're kind of accented. So you can hear the difference between the two. That's the original, and the accented. And you can really make the difference between the two by, again, playing around with all of these. Now, when you flip it down, this now actually turns this into a VCA control. So you can plug anything into this and turn the volume up and down of the kick drum. And you can even go like really, really fast with it as well. So let's take an envelope here, got a really fast envelope happening here, and plug that in. And yeah, you can get that sort of thing going on, if that's what you want. Yeah, so that's kind of like audio rate, opening and closing that VCA, or turning it up and down rather. So that's really cool. Let's put this in some context. Okay, so let's have a play with some of the modulation on here. Let's take this, which is just a sequence coming from the variegate, and let's plug that into the decay. So now on some beats we've got a really long decay, and on some others we've got a very short one. And that's the attenuator for that. So we can go either way with that. In the same way, we could use that actually also for damping. So just by sending that sequenced voltage there into the damping, we're taking off that top end. Listen to that on its own actually. It's a really cool kind of groove. Without it, you might be able to see here, that's what's coming out of the varigate. And actually you can apply that even to the pitch decay, which again's got a attenuator. So now you've got really accented kick. Let's put in those other kick drums. If that's your thing. Oh, that's kind of nice the other way. Listen to that. Nice. Okay, yeah, as I mentioned, oh yeah, let's put this in a volt proxy. So it does track. And that might be what you're after. So it's kind of cool. So like the tail is getting moved up and down in pitch. So it's constantly tracking, which is really interesting. So it can kind of be used as a voice as well as a kick drum at the same time. Okay, let's have a bit more of a play with it and see what other sounds we get out of this. Actually, yeah, let's kind of see how low this will go. Start with a really low frequency. So it's no pitch decay, no pitch mod there. It's kind of a bit smoother, a bit rounder, isn't it, with the clean? Let's go all the way around. Yeah, so you got kind of from there all the way around there. So just find that sweet spot, what works for you in terms of your track. And choosing that front end. really clicky. You hear how the resonance also interacts with that frequency and the saturation. Let's hear that. A little bit more energy in that mode. It can just be really welly. It's really cool. And it's just finding those sweet spots that like work for your track. Really cool. So I think you can, with this damping, very kind of 808-y in places. And that's very clean, rounded. Let's change the kick drum pattern actually. And let's bring in that modulation again. Here it is. Nice. So I guess you can kind of build ups like that in a way, and then go to the regular kick drum pattern. Just turn the synth down a bit. Very sort of rounded, smooth kick at the minute, and just bring that energy out with the damping. So this is what I mean by it being my kind of secret weapon, in that you can get so much out of this. And if you're listening on headphones, you'll appreciate just how much kind of attack transient is on this body, weight, and through a big pair of speakers, I know for a fact just how devastating this can be. That resonance adds that lovely extra kind of vowel-y sound to it. Almost a vocally kind of wow to it. Now this is quite interesting. This has also got an envelope output. On this envelope output, you can actually switch on the back to do one of two things. You can either have it coming out and following the envelope of that, or you can either have it switched so it'll give you the inverse, so you can actually then use it for ducking. Now at the minute I've got this going into a compressor, a sidechain input of compressor over here, the lead presser by Voikers, and my synth is getting turned up and down by that. So that's how I usually would do sidechaining. But the fact that this comes with sidechain on it, essentially, well, the ability to create sidechain from it is ace. So let me demonstrate that for you. Grabbed another cable and just going to take my kick drum out of the mix. So you can hear the sidechain going on from my compressor. So I'm going to take that off. So there's no sidechaining going on now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the envelope output and I'm going to run that into the VCA of my synth voice, and it should just turn it down. There we go. Take the delay off. You hear it bouncing up and down? Well, that's that. Put the kick in and it'll fill that gap in. And obviously, if you had that going through an attenuator before it went into the VCA, you could manage the amount that is kind of acting on that ducking. It's just full on at the minute. If I take that out, obviously we won't hear anything, because that's actually responsible for opening and closing the VCA. So that's really cool. That's a really cool feature. Like I say, that's switchable. And my hi-hats are now, which were going through the compressor and were being ducked before, are not anymore. But that's okay. You can hear what that's doing. Now, if we make this longer, it will duck for longer as well. If we make it really short, let's take the kick drum out. It's a very quick duck. Make it longer and the VCA is barely getting back to 0. So it is a true follow of the shape of the kick drum from that envelope output. Okay, put my sidechain back in as it was. Bring back the kick. I just find it so easy as well to find the sweet spots usually with this. It's like, it's hard to be unhappy pretty much on any setting that you get to. Let's go back to this kick drum pattern and add these accents back in. Just notice with the resonance, I had that really cranked, and there's an extra kind of buzz at the top without it. I mean, if you crank that up now on your speakers, that's got a lot of body to it. Nice. Let's bring back the synthesizer as it was. Nice. Yeah, the volume, oops, I just hit the camera in my head. The volume obviously does that for you. And I suppose what would be cool on that would have been like a push button to kind of mute it and unmute it for those kind of things. But if you've got a mixer with a mute on it, you're all good. Just change this a little. You hear that? a little bit less low end. Now there's much more. Add the because we're using these accents and the original trigger, let's put in the modulation again. Sorry, I wasn't using that envelope anymore. And let's put it maybe into, let's put it into the decay. That's the one we want. Sounds like a really complex pattern now. Essentially those accents, the triggers, accents, triggers, and this decay being modulated. Lots of top end, attack rather, front end. It's nice. Let's take some more modulation. Let's take, I'm not sure what this one's going to be doing, but let's plug it into the damping. Great. So you see what I mean now? How this thing comes alive using all these inputs and the modulation at once. Really nice. What's that like if we put that into the pitch decay? So some of those kicks are high pitched, some are lower, some are longer. Oh, that's nice. So now, because we attenuated it round into the negative, it's making some of those kicks really short and hard. It's almost like a bass line. Yeah, so like if you want to add energy to your track as you're playing with that damping and the length, and taking it back around there. We do have modulation inputs as well for these, for turning up that front end attack. I'm really liking this sound actually. I don't want to take this modulation out. You see what it's doing. That's nice. But if we was to apply that to that hit volume, some of them have now got that front end, some of them haven't. That's nice in that decay, in negative. Really cool. Let's take those accents out. Obviously, if we put that into the VCA mode, it's going to be it's just receiving triggers in here. You get these very, very quick clicks. That's all. Which might be of use, might not be of use. Ooh, so much low in there. I'll just keep bringing in the music, by the way, just to give it a bit of context. But I really want the focus to be about the sound of this as opposed to building a track up here or something like that. I will mention that we also have this other module here by Malstrom, the Wyvern. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it yet, but yeah, video coming on this one soon. That's really nice to jam with, the attenuation. Going either way. Depending on what your track's doing. So what I'm saying for live performance, this has got so many opportunities once you like learn it as an instrument, I guess, you know, learning about using the longer times in places, and then getting to more kind of staccato-y ones, playing around with that pitch, open it up again. And then taking it down there. You notice without that P mod, it just doesn't have that much energy, but again, to play with when you're playing live. Let's bring that synth back in. Now, what I might do is take the kick drum pattern here, which is going into an envelope generator, a quadrax, and I'm going to plug this in to the damping. Just take that out. Take the accents out. So that is being opened whenever it receives the kick drum hit, because that's going to my envelope generator. and it's turning that up and down really quickly. So you can get that now. If I just make it happen a little bit later, so take off the attack of that being turned up, you'll get the clean transient of the original kick drum before it turns that up. So that's it, it's bang on. If I delay it a little bit by turning up the attack, then we only get that on the tail, which is quite interesting. And we could apply that even using the VCA. So we're kind of turning it up and down. Sort of slightly after it gets triggered. So what's happening is the kick drum's getting triggered. I'm then sending an envelope to turn it up after it's just been triggered. And we're getting that going on. It's quite interesting. Hope you can tell. That's it, bang on. I'm going to delay it. So now it sounds like, again, like you've got kind of two different kick drums going on, because the front one, the first one's kind of softer because you've got that attack longer, but the second one is full force. So it's an interesting way that you can use that VCA there a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And let's play with the decay again. So now some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. This was changing the pitch. Sorry, not the, yeah, the pitch decay rather. So now you've got these two different pitches, two different lengths. One of the kicks is softer, one of them is harder. If you want both those kicks to have the same front end, bring the attack to its shortest. So it's pretty cool for a drop. You've got that, and then you want to add the energy back in. Like that. So, yeah, I can see how that VCA is going to be useful for some people to do that kind of thing. That was my poor attempt to do a drop. So I had a softer let's go again. something like that. You get the point. Let's take that back to, yeah, I suppose I could have used that actually to do the drop. Let's go again. Didn't quite work. Never mind. But the function's there. Let's bring back the other kick. Well, it's not another kick, it's another trigger for the accents. Oh, wow. Just want to hear it on a big system again. So yeah, there you go. That's the Mandrake by Malstrom. Go check it out. See if this is the kick drum module for you. I guess what I probably like is, yeah, just kind of like a 2 HP, little switchable muted module, just so I could run modulation into it, just to mute that, rather than having to unplug it. That'd be cool. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Do go over to my Patreon and Bandcamp, and you'll be able to check out my music there. And I've got lots of new music coming with this, driving it home. Thanks for watching. Really cool groove.